Hi yogis, welcome to this 15-minute yoga flow for hips and hearts. Let's get started in a seated position. So we'll bring the hands to the tops of the knees and close your eyes. Begin by taking 3 deep breaths. Dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. Softening the belly. And then we'll come onto all fours. And we'll take some cat-cows. So inhale as you arch the spine, gazing up. Exhale, round and tuck the tailbone. Inhale, gazing all the way up, arching the back. And exhale, round and tuck the tail. One more time. Inhale, let the heart guide you forward. And exhale, round and tuck the tailbone, drawing the navel up. And then come back to neutral spine. And from here we'll go into child's pose. So 2 options. You can bring the big toes together and start to widen the knees a little bit farther than hips width. Stretching out the hands. Or if that's too much for you right now, you can bring the knees together. And once again, reach out the palms, walk the hands out. And then slowly lower the head down, resting your forehead on the mat. And we'll take 3 breaths here, drawing out the exhale, softening the heart down to the mat. Letting the arms be heavy. One more deep inhale. Exhale, sending the breath all the way down to the belly and to the toes. And then we'll rise back up all fours. Tuck the toes, start to lift the hips, pressing the knees back, walking the feet back slightly, and then drawing the heart towards the top of the thighs. Pressing into the palms of the hands. And go ahead and check in with the index finger. It's pointed straight ahead. And then round the shoulders back, drawing the upper arms in. Slight bend in the knees if that supports your down dog. If not, extend the legs. Bring the heels down to the mat. And then we'll walk out the legs here. So walk in the dog. Lifting one heel off the mat at a time. Okay, good. And then we'll inhale the right leg back behind. Right leg back behind. Reach up, reach through the toes. Deep inhale. Exhale, sweep the right foot in between the hands. Coming into the low lunge. Drop the back knee down. And then we'll open and twist to the right side. So reaching the right fingertips up. Let that right knee fall out a little bit. Opening through the top of the chest. And then float that hand back down to the mat. And we'll place that right hand on the inside of the right foot. So coming into a lizard pose here. You can walk that right foot out a little bit farther if that feels good. And then we'll just stay up here for a moment and maybe let that right knee fall out a little bit. If you'd like to lower down, if your hips aren't too tight right now, you can also try that as an option. Wherever you're at, settle in, take a couple breaths. Good, and then we'll press up with our hands and we'll go into pigeon pose from here. So walking the right foot over to the left side, bring that right knee down to the mat. We'll square the hips to the front. And once you got that, keeping that back leg nice and strong, pointed behind you, lower as far down as you can. And if that doesn't feel good, just stay up here with the hands planted on the mat. Otherwise, lower down, sinking into that right hip. Come back to your breath. Allow the exhale to let you go a little bit deeper here. Soften a little bit more in the hips. You can even place your forehead on the mat. One more breath here. Allow the exhale to take you even deeper just for a moment. And then on the next inhale, start to lift yourself up. And we'll slide that right foot back. Come up into downward facing dog again. So untuck the toes and press the heart back towards the top of the thighs. And you can walk the dog out again if that felt good last time. Stretching, opening up the backs of the legs. And let the head and the neck hang here. We'll inhale to the tippy toes. And we'll exhale, walk in between the hands. Coming into forward fold. So separate the feet about hips width apart. So a few inches. And once you got that, bend the knees. Start to rest the belly on top of the thighs. Let the head and the neck be free. Grab opposite elbows. Start to rock back and forth. Release the arms. We'll bring the hands to the low back, so at the base of the tailbone. And then inhale, start to lift the hands away from the back. Pressing the shoulders back, opening up through the top of the chest, opening the heart up. Send all of your breath there, as if the top of the chest is just peeling apart here. Keep that gracious bend in the knees to protect the low back, pressing through the feet. One more breath. Lower the hands to the low back first and then slide down the sides of the legs. Good. We'll inhale halfway up. So hands to the shins, flat back. And exhale, we'll come back into down dog. And we'll take the other side. So inhale, left leg kicks up. Exhale, sweep it in between the hands. Drop that right knee down. And we'll twist to the left side, opening up, reaching the fingertips nice and high. You can let that left knee fall out a little bit. Sink a little bit deeper. One more breath. Exhale, float that left hand down. We'll bring it on the inside of the left foot. So just like the right side, taking lizard pose before we go into pigeon. So you can stay up here if that feels good, or if you want to lower down, get a little bit more into that left hip. It's quite an intense stretch here, so be cautious with yourself and always do whatever feels best in the moment. And every day will be different. So No worries there if you can't come all the way down to the mat yet. So one more moment here. And then we'll start to press up with our hands and walk that left foot over to the right side. And we'll set up here for pigeon, so squaring the hips to the front of the mat. And then once you feel good with that, check in with the back leg. Should be reaching out nice and straight behind you. The toes are pointed, and then we'll lower down as it feels good. You can rest your forehead on the mat. You can rest on your fist. And then take about 5 breaths here. Sending each exhale breath to that left hip. See if you can provide a little more ease, a little more softness there. Sinking a little bit deeper. And slowly start to raise back up. And then glide that left foot back behind. And then we'll tuck the toes, press into downward facing dog. Sending the heart towards the top of the thighs. Externally rotate the shoulders around, drawing the upper arms in. Pressing into the palms of the hands. Be careful and mindful of the wrist here. Lifting the tailbone up to the sky. We'll inhale to the tippy toes. Exhale, walk in between the hands. When you get there, start to separate the feet a little bit wider, and we'll come all the way down as if you're going to sit on the ground into a squat or into garland pose. So bringing the elbows in between the legs. We'll press the elbows into the sides of the legs here, into the knees. So opening up a little bit more. The hands are together in prayer position. And then we'll drop the hands to the mat, so palms up, and then bring the chin into the chest. And we'll stretch the back of the neck as well. And 2 more breaths, drawing out that exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. Good, and then you can release the palms from the mat and start to sit back, and then we'll come to our backs. Place the feet on the mat, bending the knees, and we'll start with eye of the needle here. So we'll place that right ankle on top of the left knee, getting kind of a square, and then we'll lift that left foot off the mat and then reach underneath and through, grabbing onto that left knee. So the idea here is to press into the left knee with that right ankle. And at the same time, I'm pulling this left leg towards me. So you should feel that opposing motion and should give you a nice stretch and opening for the hips here. And when you can feel that relaxing into the pose, we'll take about 4 to 5 breaths here. And option 2, you can let that left foot either fall down or you can leave it lifted. And you can just play with that and see how it feels. And now we can release the hands from the knee, and we'll keep the frame here of this box, and then we'll let both legs fall over to the left side. So try to keep on your back here and reach out to the side with that right arm. You can use the left hand to help keep this right knee lifted. And this is a really good pose for the IT band. So if you're feeling any tension or stress in your hips, try this pose after Eye of the Needle. Good, and then we'll keep the legs where they are, just lift back up, and then release both feet down to the mat again. And we'll do the other side. So left ankle comes on top of the right knee. And then once you got that box square, we'll lift up and then reach under, grabbing on top of that right knee. And start to draw that right leg towards your chest as you press away with the left ankle. Two more breaths here. Keep pressing that ankle into the knee and keep this foot flexed to help protect the ankle while we're in here in this Eye of the Needle pose. And then we'll go ahead and drop the frame over to the right side. So once again, you can use the right hand for this left knee. So it stays up, pressing it away from the body, and then reaching out with the left arm. And last breath here, really draw that exhale out. Good, and then you can release, come back up, and then drop both feet back down, and then stretch the legs out. We'll rock the feet from side to side. And the last pose we're going to do is laying pigeon. So bend the right knee, draw it in towards the chest, and pause here, giving some release for the low back. And then we'll guide that right knee across the body for a twist, and just bring that right knee as far as you can over. Doesn't have to reach the mat, that's okay. And then right arm stretches out to the side. And we'll slowly unwind from the twist, bringing that right leg back to the center, reach it out nice and long, shake the feet out, and we'll do the other side. So bend that left knee, draw it in close to the chest, allow for release in the low back. Reach that right leg nice and long. And then we'll guide that left knee across the body, opening up with the left arm. Nice twist here. Try to bring that left knee as far down as you can. But it doesn't matter how far it goes, just as long as you feel a nice twist. And at the same time, trying to keep that left shoulder rooting down towards the mat. Reach through the left fingertips and take 3 breaths here. Slowly unwind from the twist, reaching that left leg nice and long. We'll rock the feet back and forth. And then we'll set up for a final resting pose for Shavasana, corpse pose. So get comfortable on the mat. Understand that it's holding you up entirely right now and supporting you. Let the legs be heavy and the arms be heavy. You can rock the head back and forth, rock the feet. Coming back to the breath if you lost it along the way, if you got carried away by thoughts. And just come back to focusing the center of your forehead. Soften the belly, soften the face and the cheeks. Take this moment, these few moments here to rest after your practice. And feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. Suggested 3 to 5 minutes. And thank you for joining me for this 15-minute flow for the hips and the heart. And I wish you a lovely and fluid practice. Thanks for joining. Namaste.